You need to get this one, man. It's right in the middle of the screen. Oh, you didn't know you had to go. I didn't know you had the tail weight. You know what I'm saying? Shoot.
I'll always have a positive word because I'm here to serve.
Hey! Boy, that like that is like you just stepped into another goddamn dimension.
The mic is on.
Here's what to do.
Don't do that, bro.
Cause you won't be misled. Just come into the daily bread. Say yeah, oh, shall you see? Got to succeed. Just believe to never what me. Went for college, got so much knowledge. You do, cause you educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate. Educate your life. Educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate. Well, you better remember that one, boy. Hear that drum?
Got a little bass in it.
Tell me that one right there, man. That right there gets you going, boy. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. This is your host, Joaquin Thompson, Sr., coming to you live from Learburn. Learburn.
Yeah.
Boy, that's country. Learburn. Man, why can't we just say Atlanta?
We can.
Because people who ain't here, they don't know where we at. We coming to you live from Atlanta. That sounds better, man. It just flows, man. Coming to you live from Atlanta. And you tuned in to episode 106 of the Daily Bread Show. Notice I said the Daily Bread Show. That means we growing. The Daily Bread Show. And this show, for those of you that are joining for the first time, this show is about personal finance. And we do it from a spiritual perspective. We don't do religion. That's an inside joke. We don't do religion on the Daily Bread Radio Show, but we do God. Always, all the time. We're going to always do God. So we just, because when you get into religion, man, it just get all mixed up, murky, quirky. So we don't like to get into that, man. You know, we just like to keep everything pure. We like to, keep things where it's, everybody can relate to it, and you don't have to worry about it getting quirky on you. So that's what we do, and we do it from a spiritual perspective. Because, that's how much, man, you're getting good at this, bro.
I've been working
You're
on it.
getting better, man. It took you 105 shows, but you know what, man? I got to give you your props, man. You.
I'm on board.
You getting better, man. So I have to give credit. You getting better, man. You getting better, man.
That's all he can say.
You getting better, man, and that's all right, bro. Because man, every time I come, I was just on the way coming out here, man. I was just thinking, I'm all deep thought. It happened every single time I come to the studio. It always happened like that. I'm like, I'm all serious. I'm coming out here. I'm driving. I'm like, man, yeah, man, we're gonna talk about this. Oh, yeah, we're gonna hit him with that tonight. Then I get there, I'd be like, man, I'd be so low key.
Yeah.
I be like,
when the music come on.
man, when them lights come on, that music, and now I got two songs, man. Educate, motivate, elevate. Man, I can just see them. We got the little dancers back there. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Come in, educate, motivate. I'm like, man, if that don't get you hype, I don't know, man. So when I see that, I really get hyped, man. When I see that, I just like, whoo, woo, that's something different, man. So, you know, I try to, I don't know what it is, man. I just don't know what it is. Maybe it's the.
Is that anointing? Is that anointing?
Is it just,
Prophetic.
man, they gotta,
Prophetic.
is it, can I say that? Is it,
Prophetic. Say prophetic.
nah, man, I ain't gonna say the maybe it is a, man, look up. We got the ministry, do we have the ministry Bible? Do you have the ministry Bible? I mean, the ministry dictionary?
No.
But look it up, man. What does it mean, man, to be anointed? What does that mean? Y'all call in, man. Call into the show. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973.
Ain't that a better number? Come on, man. Say it like you mean.
God.
Say it like you mean.
Dang. 678. Man, you can remember that. I couldn't remember. I never even tried to remember the other number. It was so long and so complicated. I didn't even try. I just like, that's too much, man. You know, you just, you know what I'm saying? You know how sometimes when you see something, like you like, all right, I'm gonna try it. And then when you get there, you like, that's just too much, man. It ain't even, that phone number was not anointed, man. That phone number was not anointed. But I guess I'm about to look that up, man. When they say, you anointed. I'm gonna have to look that up, man. Let me put that down, man. Let me put that down in my notes. Because you know I'm constantly taking notes. And I don't just take notes to take notes. I take notes to be able to go back and refer. But this is episode 106. Man, we almost at 200.
Yes, sir. Rolling. 200 gonna be big, man.
Boy, let me tell you something. Like, before we jump in, though, man, let me say this. Let me just say this. Because I'm going to talk about some stuff tonight, man. This for everybody. I see Big D on, man. Appreciate you, bro. I see D Cali with Cali Q. He on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all go down there and support his business, man. Do his thing. Because them ribs off the chain, boy. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Boy, you know you got some good ribs when the Joker eats some, take some, come back, order some more, bring back another slab, take them all the way back to Atlanta. I had to bring them back, man. I was like, oh man, I need some of them, man. So that's like some that's almost like drug activity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mean it.
I need a package to take back with me. But yeah, man, shout out to them brothers, man. They keep me going, keep me juiced up. And man, people. Hey man, you supposed to knock when you come in the studio, man.
You broadcast.
I know, man.
You were not hollering.
I know, man. What you want me to holler, man? Where you from? Where you from? Duval. Hey man, you know the people out there in the church, bro.
Hey, but y'all shouldn't told me that.
I know, man. So if they say where you from, where you from? I'm from.
I can't say.
Man, you supposed to say it, man. I'm not gonna keep queuing you up, bro. That's called getting queued up, man.
Duval. No side, baby, all day long.
This joke here, man. Got there baby Neil to my north side. Well, I remember we down there about Barcelona, River Park.
Yes, sir.
But y'all don't know nothing about River Park. When you have to pay the toll, go across the Charles River Bridge,
Yes,
make
sir.
that left, go do the little loop. Don't go to the right, go to the zoo.
Yeah.
Keep going to the left.
Yeah.
And then make another left, go down by Barcelona.
outside.
That's what I was at, man. Me and Big D. That's what Big D was at. Me and Big D. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it's always good, man. I feel like Dorothy, man. Never feel like home. Never like home. I just can't do the red shoes. But, but just, yeah, man, it's just something about it, man. I am gonna look up that word, though, anointed, to find out what's that about, man. Because it's something about when I come in this studio and I put up them banners and that music start playing and just the kind of stuff that's been happening in my life, man, is just so crazy. You know what I'm saying? I've been sharing it with a couple people, but man, I had, got a cuz down in Jacksonville. He making the songs, shout out to Big D, make the theme song for this show. But then I turned around, man, I came up with this, we're gonna shoot these TV shows. So I'm gonna put y'all up on something, man. The TV shows are like this close to being finished. Like, we got to shoot some more. We got to do some retakes tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but Saturday. But let me share this with you, man. I'm not even gonna front. I'm not gonna say, bruh. But when I say this thing is already, I guess, anointed. It's already ordained. It's already something, man. It's already been touched because I saw the production where I took the music that my cousin created for me for this show, and I sent it to the production team for the TV shows. Like, look, man, use this for the intro and for the outro. And they put it together, and they had already did. They was like, hey, man, we're gonna do, we're gonna really juice up this intro when the show come on. So I was like, yeah, whatever, man, whatever. But man, when I seen it, I just dropped. I dropped straight to my knees, man. I start praying, man. Like, that couldn't be nothing but God. I'm talking about, man, your own show, and the show come on like this. It's showing like out there in Atlanta from a drone view, just coming in. And next thing you know, they got me walking like, I'm like, oh, man, I look big time. Oh, man, it's just hot. It's hot, man. I'm already on season 2. So I shot season 1. So now we on the season 2. So that's gonna be ridiculous, man. I can't. And in fact, the worst part about it is I've been wanting. The worst part, the people told me is like, look, man, do not show this to nobody. This is for editing. This is for. But you ever had something, man, that you wanted to just, man, I wanted to post that thing so bad, man, and show some people. Man, I haven't been able to show nobody. But it's so, man, it's so crazy that I want to just share it with everybody, man, like off the rip. Like, man, you ain't gonna believe this. But when y'all see it, man, I want y'all, man, I'm telling you, man, y'all, you're gonna be so goddamn happy, excited, just like, man, not just it's from the Bangle, man, and from Duval, but it's like, man, just as a people, man, just coming out with something. Because think about it, it's no show on television right now that's dealing with personal finance. It's no show. I mean, it's just, week in and week out, man, I go back and look at some of these older shows that I've done, episode 42, episode 39, 74, 38. I'm like, and the stuff that I'm saying, man, it's nothing on TV right now. And it might be by design, because one thing about the truth, right? We talked about this a few weeks ago. One thing about the truth, everybody don't want you to know the truth. Mm-hmm. Everybody is just like the Wizard of Oz, man. It's like they'll do everything to keep you distracted. Like I was talking to this young lady yesterday, man, about some personal finance. And the way she was explaining it to me, I just stopped her like mid-sentence. I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but the way you explaining this sounds like the way the government set up, public assistance back in the 60s, right? Because in order for you to qualify for public assistance, what did you have to do? It couldn't be a man in the house. Yeah. It couldn't be a man in the house. If you had a man in the house and they found out it was a man in the house, they would deny you public assistance even though you needed it. So the way she was explaining it to me yesterday, I was like, that don't make no sense, man. It's by design. So when I'm saying that to say, I don't know if it'll be, I feel like it's gonna be a challenge to get it on network, but I don't care, right? Because the beauty of it is this. If he took this song, man, what is song that, man?
Which one you want?
Play the number 2 song. Not the original. Not the original. Just a little snippet of the second. This one. Y'all hear this? Can you imagine the show coming on? Like, they showing Atlanta. And then the next day, I'm talking over. Good evening, this is Hakeem Thompson. All right, man, cut it. Can you hear that? I can't wait, man. So I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna be on Netwit. I see Netwit. That might be the news. that might be what it is. Netwit. I don't know if it's gonna be on Netwit. I don't know if it's gonna be on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. We can start our own platform. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The boys over there, whatever we want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Black Excellence. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? BEG, Black Excellence, Gaming, whatever, man. But the only thing I know is this, man. This project is it's divine, it's ordained. It's going to help a lot of people. it's gonna help a lot of people, man. The 5 shows are just, I mean, super nice, man, super nice. So, but I just feel, man, I just want to show somebody. That's the only thing I want to do is show somebody. And I can't show them. No, I can't, man. I can't leak it. 'Cause it's kind of bad when you leak your own stuff, right? So that's what I'm struggling with right now is just keeping it under wraps, man, until we do like a full-fledged, release. But I promise you won't be disappointed, man. And so that's big. The YouTube the YouTube campaign, man, going strong, man. We went from, I think, look, you talking about. I'm gonna show y'all something. The way corporate does it. Corporate will say, "Oh my gosh, our subscribers have increased by 2,050%."
Yeah.
And you're like, man, 2,050%. That means you went from $6. You went from 6. In 2 weeks, but we did it. It's been a little over 2 weeks, like 2.5 weeks. We went from 6 subscribers to the last time I looked, man, it was a magic number. 85 is a magic number. That's a magic number, man. 85 is a magic number. So when I looked in there and I seen 85, I said it's over. Because once I see 85, I know what it is. It's over. I'm 15 down, and I ain't really put the full. I put it out on Facebook and Instagram and all. But I ain't put the full court press on people. You know what I'm saying? Like I I ain't put the full court press on them because I was like, man, I ain't gonna press them up. But I'm just saying, if you down with it, and like Nipsey said, I want people to be proud to pay, right? Because when this next TV show come out, when the next book come out, or the book re-release, because I'm not going to write another book right now. I'm just doing a re-release. So let me just be clear, because we say we do God on this show, so I ain't gonna get on here and start lying. So, but the re-release is gonna be out of control because a lot of people didn't see the book the first time. So somebody gave me some wisdom on that. So the re-release of the book, the new shirt, the new Daily Bread Show shirt, it would educate, motivate, elevate on that, right?
Yeah. Educate, motivate.
That is right?
Yeah,
Educate,
motivate. Yeah.
Man, you should know by now, man.
Say it again.
You still trying to?
Say it again.
Come on, man. I say that in man, your nephew said, man, call your nephew, man. Your nephew saying that. What you mean, man? He all the way in South Carolina, man, 15 years old.
He on his way back, 16.
16?
Yeah, he on his way back.
He on his way back?
Yeah, he'll be back for about a week or two. Yeah.
Oh, man, I got to bring, when he come back, man, he on the show. That's my man.
Oh, man.
He's 16 years old, man. That's all. He been in the studio, educate, motivate, elevate. He's 16.
Man, we ran him down the road, he sing that song, man. Man, shut up, man.
So wait till you see that TV show, he gonna go nuts, man. But so then people be proud to pay. That's really what it. Because people heard about Nipsey and his story, but one of the things that I don't think enough people are giving him credit for, he came out with a business strategy that you gotta have guts to use this business strategy. And the business strategy is you come out with a product and you say, hey, it's free, but if you want to pay $100 a copy, then so be it. And people feel proud to pay $100 to support you in your cause,
Yep.
right? So it take guts to do that. And I said, you know what, man? You know what? I'm doing that. I'm gonna try it out because I believe in business. I believe in business concepts, and I know I got a core group of supporters that they'll be proud to pay. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do mine like that. I'm gonna say each one of these books is $100. Somebody be proud to pay,
Yep.
right? Because we putting them out to all of the. Man, I can't let y'all see the show, so I'm gonna let some of this other stuff out the box. Campaign for 2020. My goal. This is my goal. My goal is to get out 100,000 copies of my book to high school graduating seniors in the U.S. I'm starting off in Georgia. Duval is next. I couldn't go to Duval first because I'm right here in Georgia. That'd just be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start in my immediate area first. I've already reached out to some school systems like, look, and this is the funny thing about systems, right? This is the funny part. Even if you're giving something away, it's red tape. I went to the school board and said, look, I want to get, they was like, what do you want to do? I said, I want to give out a free copy of my book, teaches young kids and their parents about the basics of personal finance. It's an excellent book. The lady said, okay, we'll look at it. And she said, we'll get back to you because we have to see if we can get permission for you to give them out. And I get it, because maybe it could be a book with something crazy in it, like, you know,
read over first.
Hitler or something like that. So I'm like, I get it. I ain't tripping. Because why? It's already done, man. It's ordained. So I'm definitely doing that here. I'm going to do it in Duval and in a lot of other places. So I want 100,000 high school students. We'll start with 100,000 this year. Next year it'll be 1 million. 100,000 graduating high school seniors and college seniors to have one copy of this book. Now, everybody's not going to read the book, but we only need a certain percentage to read it, especially at that critical time. High school going to college, because you need to understand, like, these next four, once you leave high school, these next four, boy, you're going to be grown. You're going to be really grown when you get out of that. And you're going to be grown and you're going to have some debt with you, and you're going to have some stuff to deal with. Hopefully you won't have no debt, but even if you don't have no debt, you're going to have something to deal with, because now you're grown and you got to deal with personal finance, right?
Unless what's the name come through? What's that boy name?
Man, he ain't coming through for everybody now. God damn, Robert Smith. I know Robert Smith probably like, man, God dang, no. He probably, can you come and speak at our commencement next year? Can you come out? He probably like, man, God, I don't know why I did that. It's kind of like giving out, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like giving out food. No, you know how you be at a family reunion or something? And you keep some good food in the back room. Or you keep the good drinks in the back room and you bring out I bring out the pecan pie out here, but the red velvet cake in the back. But only certain people know. But you bring that red velvet cake out, they ain't gonna be happy with just that. They want some more. Where's some more?
You bring the fruit cake out for everybody.
Man, you bring the fruit cake out for everybody else, man. So I know Robert Smith going through it right now, like, God dang. And then the jokers at Morehouse, I talked to one of the administrators at Morehouse. He said them jokers beating the doors down, like, man, what? They said, jokers called them. They said, where my money at? They said, where my money at? Like, how long is it gonna take? When are we gonna get it? Like, bro, it's done, man. It is done. So you just gotta, hold tight, man, and be blessed. You know what I'm saying? So tonight, I'm gonna jump into a couple of topics tonight, and a couple of things happened, and I want to, and this is something I haven't talked about. I haven't talked a lot about it on the show. 106 shows, but I think it's important. I think it's extremely important, man. Shout out to I see one of my old homeboys on the show, man. I ain't seen him in a minute, man. That's that's an OG homie there, man. Mario Robinson. God darn, give him the ball, give him the rock. You know what I'm saying? Give him the rock, let him tote that thing, man. So shout out to Mario, man. Hey, good to see you, brother. I seen Rod Jackson on earlier. That's my little brother. I appreciate him, man. And like I always say, man, it's inspiring to me when I see people, man, coming on and taking time out their busy schedule. Say, hey, man, I'm gonna go look and see what he's talking about, man. See what he's doing. You only need one supporter. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, so every week when I come on, if I don't see but one person, boy, I'm hyped. I'm super hyped, man. I have to calm myself down. But this is a very important topic, especially in our community, because a lot of times we don't talk about it, but it's something that's real. It's a business concept. So we talk about business concepts on the Daily Bread Radio Show. And D. Cali, I see you on, so this some good vibe for you and what you're doing, and as you growing your business, man, from not only from a business perspective. I'm getting tough, man. You ain't got no water, man. What kind of studio is this, bro? You ain't got nothing to drink?
Top notch.
God darn. Them peppermints? Man, I need peppermint or something. Anyway, one is we're going to talk about and we haven't talked about this really on the show, but we're going to talk about it tonight, man, because it's been on my mind. We're going to talk about intellectual property.
That's good.
Right? And we're going to talk about intellectual property, and you notice I'm writing, so if I'm writing, I ain't telling you what to do, but I'm just saying you should have something to write with. But intellectual property, we're going to talk. Let's just jump right into intellectual property. intellectual property is very, very important for a number of reasons. And the number one reason is protection, right? So if you notice, a lot of times when you create things, now if you create something and nobody's interested in it, it ain't a big deal, right? But if you create something that's good, and that could be everything from a book, it could be a song, it could be a design, it could be a logo, anything that you want to protect, that's intellectual property, right? And intellectual property is something that's, it's an idea, something that you came up with, but you have to put things in place in order for you to protect it. Because unfortunately, there are some opportunistic people in the world, and they will come behind you and check to see if you have taken the correct steps to protect your intellectual property. Now, intellectual property, again, that could be trademarks on designs. It could be a patent. You could come up with something. You might come up with the new, like the brother who came up with the Super Soaker, right? That big, water gun. It was a brother that came up with that design. So you could, but he was smart. He was really smart. And I'm gonna show you the difference between really getting it done right and really getting it done wrong. I'm gonna give you a couple of different examples that I've seen, that I've been exposed to, that I had knowledge of from a corporate standpoint, and just from a business standpoint, right? Super Soaker, the brother who created, it was a brother that created that design, the Super Soaker. He had a patent on it, so he went through, got his patent, worked with a patent attorney, got the patent on the design, right? So once he got the patent, man, what you want to do with this?
Oh, you don't want to?
Man, what is that? Is this water? Man, I can't put nothing in my mouth, man. I can't be chewing it. I'll do that in a minute, bro. Anyway, so the brother, he went through his patent attorney, got his patent submitted, and if you watch the show Shark Tank, a lot of times when they get down, they ready to do a deal, they always ask, do you have a patent on this? Is it patented? Why do they ask that question? Why? Why do they ask that question? Because they understand there's value in keeping people at bay. It's value in that. If you can create something, even you see this with big drug companies, right? All these different drugs that come out, Lipitor, Viagra, all these, whatever, you know what I'm saying? New Lester. They do all of those advertising, you see everything on TV. But what happens is most of the drugs that come out, they have a 10-year patent. They have 10-year patent protection. And then after that 10 years, when it expires, then other people can create knockoffs of that medication. So that's what you see. So during that 10-year period, they try to make as much as they can, because they know once the patent expires, other people can get in, right? It's called, like, in the medieval times, that's why they used to build a moat around the castle, because they didn't want you to just be able to run up to the castle and break the doors down. They want you to have to work to get over. And so by the time you get to the moat, then that gives them time to, like, fend you off. And it's the same thing with a patent. So the brother who came up with the Super Soaker did a great job, had a patent, everything was covered. Anybody trying to infringe on his patent or make a copy of it, then you could take legal action, right? So that was what he did. Now, there was another brother, right? And some of this you have to research it, but this is what was told. This is what I read in the story. So I don't know, super factual, what have you. But it was another brother. This is another story about a different time. But you remember the product, right? The Chrysler, think about this. And I don't know what year it was, and some of you all may know. So call into the show, 678-381-1973. Just remember protection. That's what it does. It protects you. It was a brother working for Chrysler, right? So he works for Chrysler. And he created, listen to this, he created the design concept for the Chrysler 300.
Good Lord.
That's a mouthful in itself. Because before that, Chrysler was almost dead. Chrysler was like, they was gasping. They was gasping. This brother came up with this concept. He said, "Oh, this would be a great one." When that Chrysler 300 came out, man, you couldn't tell people they had a Bentley. They had the grills that went on the front. That car was a huge hit, right? But the brother who designed it, he got paid a salary. And Chrysler, they were able to get a patent on the design. Now you may say, well, Darren, he worked for the company. I know, but even if you work for a company, you could design something, right? You could design something and still get it patented on your own. Just like, nah, I'm taking this one. I drew it up. I created it. That's when you have to go rogue, right? Because if you ain't ready to go rogue, and you might say, well, hey, I work for the company. Okay. So you might say, well, that's an employee one. That ain't a good one. Okay. Here go another one. The guest was right here on the show, so he don't mind me sharing this with you all because it's about us learning from other people. And that's in itself is a business concept, right? Like Benjamin Franklin has a famous quote, "No man will live long enough to know everything that he needs to know to be successful. Therefore, he must learn from others." That's a quote. That's Benjamin Franklin. So with that being said, when you see something that somebody else did, then you have to take heed to that, right? So we had a guest on the show a little over a year ago, and I think it was right around like episode 50, 51, 52, something like that, right? Wally Amos, right? People know him better known as Famous Amos.
Yes.
Right? He sat right in this chair and he told us, Famous Amos Cookie Company. Famous Amos Cookie Company. That's all I gotta say. Everybody know what I'm talking about when I say Famous Amos Cookie Company. Right? But he didn't protect it.
Hello, this is Wally Amos, and you are listening to the Daily Bread Radio. It's the best in radio.
Is that really him?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, man. He was on this show. He was sitting right there. That's my guy. Trying to get him back on, man. He about to go back to Hawaii, but not to digress. Anyway, he didn't pull no punches. He sat right in this studio and told us emphatically, I didn't know.
Yep.
He sat right there and he said, I didn't know. He said, I knew how to promote. I knew how to market. I knew how to do A&R because that was his background. His background was in music. People didn't even know that. People didn't even know that. This man, his background was in music, right? But when he got his own cookie company and it was so successful, he didn't even know that he needed to protect it with a trademark. Wally, well, Famous Amos. Trademark. Like nobody can use that. Cookie company. No, Famous Amos Cookie. You can't use that, bro. It's a trademark. And he could have owned it, but he didn't. So guess what happened? Some people say unscrupulous, some people say opportunistic, but really in the game, it's like, bro, you I think if they had been conscientious, they could have went back to him and said, hey, look, man, you need to put a patent on this where it was a trademark, because it wasn't a patent. A patent goes on things that you design. Trademark is for images, logos, and wording, right? They could have went back to him and said, hey, man, we need to work together and get this protected. But they didn't really want him to have access, because when you have a patent, copyright, or trademark, then you're entitled to royalties, right? That man would have still been getting. I'm not no genius, and I can't forecast, but I can say with pretty much certainty That was probably a $500 million mistake. I'm being conservative. A $500 million mistake. That's a $500 million, right? Just that one thing.
Not
Right?
doing.
Huh?
One thing of not doing.
Just one. But it came from, like he said, I just didn't know. He sat right here and told us. He said, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. So that's fair, because that's why we had these kind of conversations on the Daily Bread, so that way, as you create a guerrilla publishing, and you may think, and the reason I'm having this conversation with you all is because sometimes with us, we create things and we don't think it's valuable because we just came up with something. Guerrilla Publishing, the Daily Bread, radio show, DKM Radio, right? But what happens is over time, after you worked all of the kinks out and somebody come along, oh man, that would be good. I would love to use that. Matter of fact, I got a good idea for that. Matter of fact, we're going to do this with that. Guess what? No, you're not.
I would bet you.
you can use hey, like this man told me, yeah, get it and do real good with it, cause you gonna pay me. I'm cool with that. Come get it, use it, take it to the moon and back. Like all people say, oh, I love you to the take that mug, man, go be a super success, bro. And I'm gonna come right back to you and be like, hey, bro, or not. Might not even be a bro. Might be, hey, sir. Might not even be a sir. Be like, mister, I'm gonna need you to, compensate me for using that Guerrilla Publishing or that DKM Radio or that Daily Bread. I'm gonna need you to do that. So I've done it, and don't let it be intimidating to you, because some people say, oh man, it's gonna cost you $5,000 to get a patent attorney, this, that, and other. Sometimes you just have to be willing to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
Meaning,
Roll the dice.
this is a true story. My wife and I had a bakery. It's called Amazing Cakes Bakery. We had a company create a logo. The logo was so incredibly nice. It was so sweet. I said, ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna protect this. Went to the U.S. Patent and Trademark website, start reading all of that stuff, because that's how they fake you out. It'd be like 3 pages of stuff you have to read first before you start filling out the application. And then before you fill out the application, it's a big thing that's highlighted, says, your application fee is non-refundable. It is $375. So whether it's approved or not approved, this money will not be refunded. So that stopped a lot of people right there, like, oh man, I don't want to pay my $375. Yeah. If you don't get it protected and somebody take it from you, you're going to lose more than $375. If you pay the $375 and they don't approve it, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something, right? And that's what happened with me. I learned something. I submitted it thinking that it wasn't going to get approved. But I knew, I said, well, if it don't get approved, I'm sure I'm going to learn something. If nothing else, filling out that long application with them 1,000, 100,000 questions asking me about the same thing. Do you want on the right? Is it on the left? When did you come up with it? When did you first start using it? When did you come up with the design? Did you create the design, or did somebody else? Well, who created it? What's their name? What's their birthday? When they live? But once you get through all of that, I submitted it. And then the funniest part about submitting a patent was this. And this was what changed my perception on being protected intellectual property. How about, and this is stuff that you can't make this stuff up, right? How about I submitted my thing, and then I get a call from this guy. His name is Henry Zach, Z-A-K. I'll never forget his name. Henry Zach. He in my phone. He's in my cell phone, right? Henry Zach reached out to me and said, Mr. Thompson, we have an issue with your application. I was like, oh, shoot. What you thought thinking then? They're going to take my... They're going to take my $375. That was my first thing I thought. I said, oh, here we go with this foolishness. He said, Mr. Thompson, He said the word amazing, the amazing cakes is not something that you can get exclusivity on. He says it's not like a logo that has a distinction, like, and he gave me the example of like Apple, they have that icon with the little bite out of it. He says something that, he says just words, and words can be used in different logos. But he said we can give you exclusivity on the design, meaning we'll give you the approval on the design, and you have 10 years of protection where nobody can use that design with those words arranged the way that you've arranged them in that design. I said,
Let's do it.
bing. I said, thank you. Then he sent me a little certificate. It's a certificate with a seal on it from the U.S. Patent and Attorney's Office. And I was so proud of that, because you know what it showed me? Not just on that. I wrote a book and had it copywritten. Same thing. Like, you ain't gonna just steal my stuff. So now I know the process. So as you get into bigger opportunities, right? It ain't always about the small. It's about the bigger opportunities. Somebody hits you with something, you get all excited, you pump the brakes. You say, whoop, wait a minute, let's get it protected before it go to the moon. So when it go to the moon and somebody approach you and they think you ain't smart enough, or you ain't tactful enough, or you ain't business savvy enough to have it locked up, let them think it. So you just sit there and be like, hey man, take it to the moon. Oh, we want to take this all over the world. Everybody that have like,
Good.
have that good. Do what you're going to do. Because it's protected. And I know in a court of law, the only thing I got to do is pull out that certificate and say, Your Honor, I don't even need a judge. Or, I don't need an attorney. I can just pull out my little sheet and be like, Your Honor, Exhibit A, because, I looked at law and order.
Yeah.
So I just pull out,
Man, you make that judgment.
I can say,
You make that judgment.
I'm entering into evidence, Exhibit A, boop. And when I do that, it's open, it's checkmate. What else you got to say? Here you go. Got the date on it, got my seal. It's over. Just pay me. That's all you need.
We ain't got no conversation.
We ain't got no conversation. Intellectual property. So whatever you're doing in the world, whether you got a small business, you got your logo, you got something that you designed, you got something that you created, think about patent, trademark, and copyrights. Now, if you design something like a super soaker, you come up with a new mousetrap, spend the money and get a patent on it. If you believe it's that good, especially if people start to show interest, if somebody start to show interest in it, you better get a patent on it.
Do me a favor, man. Say hello to Athens, Greece. You got people in Athens, Greece listening to you.
Oh man, don't tell me that, man. You said Athens, Greece?
Say hello to Athens, Greece.
Oh, they're weird day.
Huh?
Is that Greek?
I don't know what that is, man.
Just
say
they-
hello. Just say hello to
Oh, just say hello to Greece?
Yeah.
Hello, Greece.
Athens, Greece.
Athens, Greece. This your host, Joaquin Thompson Sr. called it, coming all the way from Atlanta. What's happening, Athens, Greece? We got people from Athens, Greece.
Athens, Greece, bro. Yes, sir.
Are you serious?
I just pulled it up. Just pulled up Athens, Greece. Listen.
Man, see what I'm saying? See what God will do?
Mhm.
He'll take your message all the way around the world. I don't need no Netflix. I already got the flick. I got the God flicks. So I ain't worried. I'm Teflon.
You got the DKM?
I got the big kahuna. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't got to worry about that, man. You can sleep easy on that. But Athens, Greece? Are you sure?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
you been surfing?
Nah, I'm done.
You done surfing?
And Bishop Bullwinkle died too, man.
What's your dude? Who was that?
What
He in
is he?
Athens, Greece?
No, man. They're the one that's saying, hell to the no, to the no. He
Oh
bad.
man,
He
yeah.
bad.
See, I knew you was surfing. I don't,
Yeah, he bad.
I feel bad about that, but I knew you was surfing the internet. But
Yeah, I'm taking care of business. over
Athens,
here.
Greece. Okay,
Taking care of business.
I appreciate that, man. And yeah, intellectual property. So that's. I mean, if you don't, because a lot of people really don't understand how that works, and it could be very valuable. Because you don't have to be on a millions scale. Just think about it. You might come up with something like a book. You might write your own book, or you might have your own recipes, cookbooks, whatever. And somebody might just buy 10,000 copies. 10,000 copies at $10, that's $100,000. Would $100,000 help? It would help. So, I mean, that's a perfect segue. We got 10 minutes left in the show. And the show go long. I mean, short.
Yeah.
We need to do 2 hours, man. I'm about to talk to the producers. We're going to get us a 2-hour show. But this is the book of the week. And it's right in line with what we're talking about today, intellectual property. Intellectual
Smart
property.
property.
IP.
Smart
You know, the
property.
Chinese are good at that, man. If you don't have that, man, they'll knock your stuff off. But anyway, this book right here is called Seeing the Big Picture, right? Business acumen to build your credibility, career, and company. It's an easy read. It's by Kevin Kopp. It's a very easy read, but this book is incredibly informational, powerful. I mean, I've read it like 3 or 4 times. It talks to you everything about cash flow. It talks about assets. It talks to you about expenses. The good thing about this, it talks to you about income statements, balance sheets, but this book does it in a non-financial way. Meaning if you're not, like, I don't understand all of them financial worksheets or whatever, this is the book for you. So if you have a business, even if you don't have a business, because notice that it started off, it says credibility and career. So even if you just, you might work for a company, you might be an employee, you still need this book because you could take this book and apply it to your household. Because somebody in your household has to be the CEO of the household. You have to have a household CEO. Somebody who's responsible for looking at, okay, this is how much we got, this is how much we spending, this is what we got left. Somebody got to do that. Because if nobody's doing that, that's a problem. Somebody got to be the CEO of the household. So this is a good book for that. It's called The Big Picture, Seeing the Big Picture by Kevin Kopp. And I just can't, I can't give him enough kudos. Because like I said, I've read it 3 or 4 times. And it's an excellent book. So that's the book of the week. And I think going into next week, or going into the summer, a couple of quick things. One, I really want to make sure that all of you all are getting fed. I guess that's the best way. So if you got something that you feel like I need to be talking about, a topic, a certain topic, like, hey man, I want you to talk more about, how to start a small business, how to grow a business, how to grow my income, how to grow my credit score, how to eliminate debt. Because I know I bring different stuff from all kinds of angles. It all ties into personal finance, but I also want to be sensitive to my audience. So as people are bringing things up, Athens, Greece, who would ever thought, right? Like, Athens, Greece, but that's what he'll do, man. That's why we don't do religion. We do God, we don't do religion. But if you have a topic on something, you can always reach out to me, Daily Bread Radio Show at yahoo.com. You can hit me on, Facebook. You can hit me on Instagram, all of them, social media, what have you. But and make sure you tell somebody about the show because, we growing, we doing some great stuff over here, and I love what I'm doing. So somebody asked me like, how long am I gonna do this? I was like, man, I think I'm gonna be doing this from now on, like in some shape, form, or fashion. Hopefully, just keep doing it on bigger platforms. Because my goal is to get to where I'm doing it in an arena. Because I always thought, went and saw Dave Chappelle last week, celebrated my 28th wedding anniversary, and surprised my wife with some tickets. We went and saw Dave Chappelle. Man, this brother was conscious. He was conscious, and he poured some things into the audience, and he was very, very, very direct about where we are, what we need to be doing. Uh-oh, somebody calling in, man. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Hey, cuz. You see, I'm trying to do both, man. Hey, whoever that is, man, y'all have to. I apologize, man. My producer, man, he had to step out to the green room. But just give us a couple minutes. We got a couple minutes. Give us like 2 minutes and then call back. Because I don't know what my and if y'all know a good producer, man, let me know. Because my producer, man, he back and forth to the green room. He got to do different stuff. But give us a call back in like 2 minutes, and I'll make sure that you get on the show. And but yeah, man, Dave Chappelle was just deep. It was just a deep, 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 deep conversation that he had with us, man. And it inspired me even more. Because I thought about it. I was like, Dave Chappelle started somewhere at some point. He wasn't doing big venues and this and that, but he started. And that's all I want to say to you all. Like, whatever it is you want to do, because at the end of the day, you should spend some parts of your life just trying to be happy. It ain't about the money. It's not about the fame. But it's just about you doing something that makes you happy, because one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be 10 years older, 20 years older, 30 years older, 40 years older, whatever. You're going to be older. And if you keep putting off what you really want to do, what your passion is, what you're passionate about, then you're going to miss out on being fulfilled and just having that joy. It's nothing like having joy in your life. It's nothing like having happiness. People spend their whole life just for peace and happiness. And a lot of times they think money is going to do it. Money's going to give them peace, or money's going to give them happiness. And then when they accumulate money, right? Because I'm just talking to, and I don't know if I shared this story with you all, but my roommate in college, I just talked to him today, and he gave me a funny joke. But my roommate in college, when I was at Howard, my roommate was one of the original producers for Puffy, or P. Diddy, whatever you want to know him as, right? He was one of the original producers. He wrote The Benjamins. He wrote a couple other songs that was on, like, that really launched Biggie's career. And Perfect Show, from an intellectual property, because he was the writer, he got paid royalties every time that they played that song, and every time they continue to play that song, he gets royalties on that. But I talked to him today, and that was one of the things that he shared with me. He was like, a lot of times people in this industry, they may get $5 million, $10 million. He said, but what they don't think about is this money has to last you a lifetime. Because you might get a $10 million hit, and it might be 5 years before you get another $10 million hit. So if you buy a $1 million house, $1 million cars, $1 million lifestyles, Bugattis, and then you don't have no income coming in, he said he's seen so many people in that industry get stuck because they end up not being able to maintain that lifestyle because they don't have income. So I told him, I feel the same way. Because even if you're not making $10 million a year, $100,000 a year, whatever you make a year, if you ever get to a point where you don't have income, you got to have something that's coming in. I don't care how much money you make. If you ever get to a point where you don't have something coming in, either from an active standpoint or passive, meaning you got rent coming in, or you get paid on your royalties, or you got stocks throwing some dividends off for you. If you don't have some money coming in, at some point, it's going to be a huge problem, because you are going to continue to spend and have expenses until you transition out of this life. So we have to be serious and focused and vigilant. Hold on, man. I'm about to answer this phone, bro. Hey, man.
Don't worry about that.
People been calling, man. About 3 people done called, man.
3 people call. I'm sitting right outside the
3 people done called in, man.
Say hello.
Thank you for calling the Daily Bread Radio Show. This is Joaquin. What's your name and where you calling from?
They got turn the
Hey, you gotta turn your TV down, man. Oh, young lady. Hey,
What's up, good brother? It's TJ up in Louisiana.
Hey, TJ.
Good buddy TJ.
TJ, wait a minute, man. No, wait a minute.
That's him.
No.
Yeah.
No,
That's
wait
TJ.
a minute. Wait. Stop. Hold on, man. Not TJ, not the TJ. Not TJ from Compton. Not from TJ from Compton.
TJ from Compton.
Oh, heck no, man. I'm done, bruh.
What?
How you doing, man?
You know,
Hey,
this time the place.
Listen, man. Listen, man. Listen what I'm getting to say to you, brother. You may not believe this, right? You may not believe. Man, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you about God, bruh.
Uh-oh.
Let me tell you, man. Let me tell you something about God. Today, I ain't gonna lie, man. Where the Bible at? It's a Bible in here. Look, here go a Bible right here, man. We used to say this when we was a shorty, right? Put your hand on the Bible. I put my hand on the Bible, man. Listen, man, what I'm saying to you, brother. Today when I came into the studio, me and you had a conversation like 3 months ago. Remember that? We were talking about the real estate game, right? And you was like, yeah, man, this is what you need to be thinking about. You need to be doing this way. If I can ever help you, man, call me. And that's how we ended the conversation. I said, that's what's up, bro. I said, I'll get back to you. Today, you put my hand on the Bible.
Come on, say
right?
it. Say it.
So we won't get struck in here.
Mm-hmm.
Today, when I got out my car and hit the little doo-doo,
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what, man? I know who I need to call. I need to call TJ.
Come on now.
If I call TJ and tell him this, he gonna have an answer for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he called, man. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, there you go. That's how
Then you call, bro. Look, I don't even know if I said, man, I hope I hope I got TJ number in my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you call me. Oh, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. What's going on? What's going on, homie? What's going on?
Oh man, I'm just sitting here waiting on another interview, and getting my Facebook ready, and they tell me they wasn't ready yet. So I look at the computer, and there you are. This brother talking about patents. This brother talking about you got to invest that money because you ain't gonna have that 5 million, 10 million forever. I'm like, I got to call in, man. That's my kind of language right there. This brother is touching on the global conversation, man. Everybody needs to hear that.
Bro, I'm all in Greece. I'm all in Athens, Greece, CJ. I'm all in Athens, Greece, bro. And I need some sponsors, man. So we got to talk, man. Cause hey, you didn't even know I shot the TV show. I gotta have you come down and do the TV show.
Brother.
Yeah, cause you one of my mentors, bro. I gotta have you come and do the show, bro. You know what I'm saying? Tell your story. You know what I'm saying? You got me talking like I'm from Cali. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Homie, shoot. You know what I'm saying? We
Like
gonna
that.
do it.
Like that.
Like it's gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Dang. So how you been, man? What's been going on? What's going on in your world?
Man, just real estate all over the nation. Real estate education.
Real estate.
No, you done turned it into No, they turned it into a verb. He said, I've been out here real estating.
Real estate.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I call it a TJism.
A TJism. Bro, you out here real estating. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to do some real estating
It's
too.
big time in there.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. I'm in Louisiana right now. I'm gonna hang out here until a minute and do a couple things. But yeah, I just left Georgia, man. I was speaking at the Juneteenth festival Friday through Sunday.
Oh, man, you ain't even. I ain't gonna say nothing because you called it night. All the birthday, man, you ain't. I ain't even get it out. You know what I want to say? Now, you ain't. Yeah, that's what's up,
Hey,
man.
man. I got that list, man. I got the 2020 thing to work on.
Yeah.
Is the follow up. It's the callbacks, the check ins on people. You got to check in on family. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It hit you up like once a month. Hey man, what you doing? Even if it's just a text, what's going on with everything? Cool. You know what I mean?
Come on, man. Come on, man. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, bro. I got to make sure I got your number, man. I got something. You're going to trip when I tell you this. I got something, man. You're going to be like, just what we talked about in the last conversation, I was like, I got something for you, man. But I got it, man. Here, man. What's your, when you going, I guess you could text me, man. Just text me. Let me give you this number, man. Let me know when you're ready, bro. What you doing? Oh, you got the number?
Yeah.
All right, well, we got the number. That's what's up. I got it. The 954. I got it. But I'm gonna call you, man, as soon as I get up the air, man, because I definitely need to get some advice, bro. Because I want to do some real estate. You know what I'm saying? I want to do some real estate too, and I appreciate that, man. That's divine intervention, bro. I sure just talked about that, brother, man.
I want to tell my little man. I want to give a highlight of my little quick story relating to what you talking about.
Go ahead, bro.
Is that cool?
Hey, man, go ahead.
You know,
You got the floor.
okay, like you said, when I was building lowriders back in the day, the money started raining, man. It was just raining money, and it was like, man, this can't be real. This is too unrealistic. We putting cars in movies and following rappers around, putting cars in videos, and and it's just money coming from everywhere. Athletes coming in, someone build my 59 convertible and give me $100,000, and you know what I'm saying? It was just raining money, and I thought to myself, it was luckily for the negative people that was around me, like, man, this ain't real. This them drug dealers and this ain't your Hollywood call you for real. I don't know about how long that's gonna last. So that kind of got to me, man. Like, dang, man, what if this? It's like I don't want to be set up for failure. I'm getting all this good money, and then all of a sudden tomorrow it ain't coming. So I had to think, what can I do that I can have some money after if this all ended? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What if all of this ended and Hollywood wasn't calling, the athletes wasn't calling, the rappers wasn't asking me to do the videos no more? How can I keep that same money coming in? And then all of a sudden somebody said, man, you need to buy a bunch of property, man, and rent it all out. And I said, oh, that's what I'm going to do. And that's how I got in the game. So I wanted, man, my goal was that if I can buy enough property and rent everything out, that I can match the monthly income that I'm generating a month off of building all these cars. That was the goal. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we need to think as a people. We can't just get happy like, oh, I got $5 million for one song, man, and $10 million for one movie, and I'm gonna be rich for the rest of my life. That ain't how that works, man. And I tell people all the time, you got $1 million, you be broke tomorrow.
Whoop. I'm telling you, man, because like I was saying, man, my roommate from college, man, he was breaking it down to me today, man, and he was, like I said, he was one of the original producers for Pump, so he was doing, and I'm talking about this brother, I said Biggie, but this brother here, he got credits on Aretha Franklin, Celine Dion. I mean, he was like getting it. And we were young, man. And he just told me that today. He was like, bruh, I came to a realization like when the money stopped, he said when the money stopped and we weren't making as many tracks and I wasn't doing as many songs, he was like, I had to downsize, bruh. He said that's tough on your ego when you have to downsize when you used to live in a certain lifestyle. I was like, wow.
Hey,
I was like, wow.
well, let's talk about, you're absolutely right. Let's talk about it on a different level, too. When I started having all that money, then I started having all these ideas of maybe to take some young people out to the boat, on the boat with me to Lake Havasu. Let them see what it's like to ride down the river on a race boat worth a bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should bring some of these young people in the tow truck so I can run down and pick up this Rag 59 from an athlete's house in Beverly Hills or something. Let them see the process of how to get a car up on top of the truck, how to lock it down properly, how to collect my money, how to stash the money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I kept having these thoughts of coaching young people, and then I kept falling off from doing that. You feel me?
Right.
And I was like, oh, I ain't got time right now. I don't have time. But guess what? The creator said, okay. I didn't give you this assignment. I'm going to make you some time.
But hey, man, that's some love, TJ. That's definitely some love, man. And what I'm getting ready to do, we got to get out the studio. But as soon as I get up, what time is you going right on to this interview? Like now?
I'm waiting on him to call me, good brother.
All right. But if I don't get you right then, man, you in Louisiana, I'll still call you afterwards. Because when I call you, you can let it go to voicemail or whatever, and you call me back. How about that?
Sounds good, brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
All right, tell the other brother, fan, hey, peace.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Man, so hey, that's it for us. I couldn't have made it up, man. Athens Grease, TJ, Intellectual Property, and you, the Daily Bread Show audience. So we're going to go and get out of here. I know we went over a little bit. Shout out to the producer, Raheem. He gave me the cue card, so we got to get moving. Y'all have a great evening. We appreciate.
This is the Daily Bread.
I can't say nothing, man.
That's all you need right there.
Look, man, look.
Oh, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it.
Oh, man.